Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Edmonds Woodway Gymnasium for a Sound Live Sports Network broadcast of 3A basketball. It's the Edmonds Woodway Warriors as they host the Mountlake Terrace Hawks. Edmonds Woodway Warriors sitting right below the Hawks in the table on the 3A standings and have an RPI. Of course, we'll talk about that, Steve Willits and I, down the road about the newfangled RPI that the state has thrown together. Edmonds Woodway, a 6-2 record in the Wesco, 12-4 overall, and they host Mountlake Terrace, 6-1, 8-7 in the overall standings as we get set to tip here under the lights. A decent crowd and two teams that are vying for very important playoff potential going into the respective divisions. Of course, you've got the 3A Edmonds Woodway Warriors in playoff time, and you've got the 2A Mountlake Terrace Hawks, and both of them very good teams, but they're going to have to try to climb the ladder and get some good seeding in the district tournament, which is only a few weeks away, a few short weeks away. Already, boom, down goes a three from Brock Davis. The senior has got the Hawks on board. Here comes Nash the other direction, loses the handle. And off to the rushes goes Davis. He'll go up with the left, no good. Off the Peterson tip, that won't count. Another shot, no good by Armstead. And here comes E-Dub into the key and a quick foul. And I tell you what, Steve Willis, don't waste any time.
Yeah, and this is what both of these teams like to do. They both like to go in transition. Certainly Mountlake Terrace with a few new players this year, one of which Brock Davis, who not really new to the program. He was there last year, but out with an injury, a transfer from Meadowdale 2 years ago. Had 31 points against Everett on Friday night, so he's really putting together some nice games lately, averaging 24.75 points per game over the last 4 games.
That's a great output. And Edmonds Woodway trying to stop the bleeding. It hasn't been a deep bleed, but they did lose a tough game back on Thursday a week ago, last Thursday against Shorecrest, a 1-point defeat, 67-68, the final in that one. Winners of 4 of the last 5 contests, as are the Hawks. Both teams sitting with the best of 5 at 4 games won. Here's the Nash drive, a little shot from 5 feet into a double team, and you'll see him get into the key, sometimes erratic, but he pushes the tempo for this Edmonds Woodway Warrior team. Crossing between the wickets is Armstead. Now down in the corner it goes to Peterson. And there's a foul by Sear. We'll get to the starting lineups. And they say that was a hook foul.
Yeah, Sear just reaching in. Very similar to the foul you saw on the other end of the floor that was called on Armstead. Just a little too much contact there, and more often than not you're going to get that called.
So that will go against Armstead. Sear pump fake, dribbles in with a left hand. There's a little push to the rack, no good. Nash, the smallest guy on the court, comes down. There's Keaton, count it. McKay with the triple. Will even things up, and that's where he's dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely, and we've seen that from Keaton all season long. The leading scorer for this Edmonds Woodway team, you give him an opportunity to hit a three-pointer, he's going to knock those down more often than not.
Full court pressure by Edmonds Woodway, trying to get the easy turnover. Now the kick out onto the left-hand side, and that nearly turned over Sear about another foot. He'd have had one going the other way. There's the crossover in traffic. Kirk can't get it to fall. And now a scrum in line, the left-hand block is not clear, and that will be a jump ball tied up by Sear, getting the top of the ball on the Sean Kirk attempt.
Yeah, and I'm a little curious on the fouls now too, Keith, because I did get it confused there. I thought it was going to be called on Edmonds Woodway. It was called on Mountlake Terrace. The board is currently showing.
I got 2-0 also.
It says Armstead with 1 foul, 2 fouls on the team. I thought Armstead had both of them.
Mason Peterson.
Oh, did they call Peterson on the one? Okay.
Yeah, Keaton right to the rack. That's a beautiful offhand runner on the reverse. It won't fall, and out of bounds back to E-Dub. McKay, Nash, Becker, Sear, and Peterson for Edmonds Woodway start things. Senior, senior, junior, senior, senior, respectively. And Noah Becker, the senior, to the senior Peterson. Knock out to Nash. Long triple on the way, in and out. Got the side of the rim, and out it goes. It'll go back to Edmonds Woodway. A couple of long shots left open on this man-to-man pressure.
Yeah, Peterson and Davis battling for that one, touched by Davis last. By the way, the reason I asked about that foul a minute ago, Armstead, the best defensive player, maybe on the floor against an Edmonds Woodway team that likes to go in transition. They're going to need him tonight, so certainly keep an eye on him. If he gets in foul trouble, they might be in trouble.
Sear draws the defender, pump fake out to Nash now. He'll spin in on the double team. Fires one off the back iron, and here comes the transition going the other way. Hawks with the leather. Sean Kirk, he'll pass it out top. They'll swing it all the way to Davis for the three. He'll count one. He's got two tonight, 2 for 2 from downtown.
And we talked about it earlier. Davis, quite the player. He can get you inside and outside. On the season, he's shooting 35% from the three-point line, actually 36%. That was going into the night. He's already 2 for 3 tonight here.
McKay with the equalizer will not get it count to count. And now we've got Caleb Knowles, the junior, averaging 6.1 points a game coming in. He'll replace the point guard Nash. And then also into the ball game for the Warriors. We got number one. I got 2 number 1s out there, so that ought to be interesting. I think it's Ancelonu. Knowles has it stolen away. Here come the Hawks the other way. It's Kirk with the right hand off the glass. Peterson will tip it away, but then count the basket on the follow-up by Armstead.
Yeah, nice job by Armstead, giving the Hawks a 5-point lead, and Robert Brown and the coaching staff for EW need a timeout.
We'll keep it right here on the Sound Live Sports Network for just a moment. We'll get you the Mountlake Terrace Hawks starters. Brock Davis wearing number 11. Kyrie Armstead, the junior, wearing number 23. Mason Peterson, the sophomore, getting the start at 6'3". Sean Kirk, the senior, and Brendan, one starter, and you reload.
Is although Sean Kirk, the transfer from Shorewood, who they didn't even have cleared until the 7th game of the year, he was still going through that whole process of getting cleared to play because of the fact that he was transferring. Those two guys are scoring a lot of their points right now. But you do have a lot of young players coming back, and they're certainly getting valuable time right now.
8-3, 5-point Hawk lead. Knowles with it, top of the key, swings out. They go to McKay, who is now wearing number 12 after the tape job. There's that Becker. I think Becker's got the 12.
Noah Becker's number 12.
I'm still confused on my ones.
Well, Achelon is number 0, so he's the one that's playing the double team right now.
And I think I only saw part of the 0 thanks to the crease in the shirt. That looked like Achelano. I didn't know why we had 2 number 1s on the court. Meanwhile, back on the hardwood, Brendan Hayes, no. Or Peterson with the rebound. He's definitely the dominant post as Becker will wrap run around the wickets and the far corner.
A great move by Peterson just to set yourself up. That's what his job is on this team, just to get the basketball, get a defensive board, and give your team a chance on the other side.
Knowles has it ripped away. And here we come the other direction. Kirk gets all the way into the key, and Hayes will take it back out for the Hawks. There's the 3 on the way, no good. And we've got a foul. I think you'll get Kirk going over the top. Well, no, Hawks like what they hear. They think they'll stay here. We'll see what that's about.
Going to call Achelano off for a push.
Cameron Eck enters the ball game for the Warriors. 6'6", a junior. Just under 4 points a game, can rip down rebounds and spell Peterson, which is what he's doing here. And that kid's improved a tremendous amount from a year ago.
He's been a lot of fun to watch. Very quick. Just what Edmonds Woodway likes to have out of their players. Just fits the Brown personnel very well.
Very fast, loves to run, sometimes runs too much. There he's leading the break straight down the middle. Cameron Eck at 6'6". Out to Knowles. He'll set it up against the man-to-man pressure. Ask for the screen. He'll get it. Now McKay will dump out top to Eck. One dribble, pass to Ancelano. There's Knowles. They like to go left-hand. They got a couple of lefties out there. But great help defense by the Hawks.
And this is what the Mountlake Terrace does. This is how Nayland coaches them. It's a defensive ball club, and we're seeing it right now with 3 points, and we're almost 5 minutes into the game.
And that will get Eck going over the top. Whistled for the foul. No, I missed I'm 2 for 2 on my over-the-back calls.
Well, I missed the hook earlier, so between the two of us, we're not doing very well. If it were baseball, we'd have a nice average, but it's not.
They charge Brendan Hayes with the foul. That'll be his first personal 4th team foul on the Hawks. There's the McKay 3, no good. Eck with the offensive rebound. Has it not clear. Some active hands underneath by the black-clad Hawks.
Great job by Mason Peterson.
That one, a shot too long by Davis. Didn't get his feet under him. Looked a bit off balance.
Yeah, rushed that shot way too quickly. He's capable of hitting those, as is McKay. We see both of those guys just rapid firing. At some point, there's going to start falling for both of those players.
McKay averaging 19-2 a contest. He's definitely the guy that the Warriors want to get the ball to if they can. There's some outstanding hustle defense by Anchelanu. Now it goes to McKay. A little floater, 5-footer on a fadeaway. Count it.
And that was actually a Madoon who made the strip. They're only a freshman. He's been a lot of fun to watch this year. I'm very impressed with him.
And now an out-of-bounds play. Madoon Bull, 6'1". He's got 6.4 points a contest average, getting some quality minutes as a freshman.
And he's had a few games where he's been up around that 20-point range. Very nice player. Definitely the future for the Warriors. And
Kirk has it swatted away by Bull. McKay stops, gets an easy look. Count it. Keaton McKay with 8 points tonight ties this thing at 8. He's got them all.
And that's exactly what Keaton's capable of. You turn your back on him for one moment, you give him the open look, and we mentioned it before, more often than not, he's going to be money from outside the three-point line.
Kirk leaves it short. Knowles will come up with it. Howe has to stop. Almost has it picked away. And the active hands that the Hawks bring to the defense, you cannot rest. You cannot wait. It's going to come clear if you breathe too long. Long three, no. Bull can't get it to fall. That will go out of bounds back to Edmonds Woodway.
And that's one of those situations where two players go up for the ball, and unfortunately, they're on the same team. Neither one calling off the other one. Really, you can't. It happens so quickly. But Kirk and Davis, I think if one of them had recognized the other one was in the vicinity, they would have easily come away with that board. Instead, we've got 33 seconds left on the shot clock, and Edmonds Woodway keeps the possession.
Keegan Grayson enters for the Hawks, 6'3", a junior. Only 3 seniors on this roster for the Hawks. At the 1:34 mark here in the first quarter on the Sound Live Sports Network, Keith Neely, Steve Willits, and the group right at the middle of the table here. A game that a lot of people in a crosstown rivalry have looked forward to. And there's the swing on the right-hand side. Now a pinball rebound underneath, and it'll be Kirk that clears.
Nice job by Armstead. Got his hand all over that shot and forced it into a bad situation, and consequently Terrace gets the ball.
Davis now to the rack, and he is throttled there. That's an easy call to make. Crossed over 2 defenders on his way to the rim in the middle of the key. Upset there, and that foul will go against Cameron. Well, I don't think that's Cameron Eck. Yeah, they did get Cameron Eck. Eck with the foul. It'll be his second team foul on the Warriors.
Davis hitting the first free throw. He shoots 80% for the free throw line on the season. Just to increase that average a little more with two in a row there, giving them the lead.
He's got 8 points. 8 of the 10 Hawk points have come through Brock Davis. Warriors now into front court. Sear back into the ball game. Back to McKay. He'll pull that trigger in a heartbeat, but he's got a mighty good defender on him with Armstead. And now a turnover will go back to the Hawks.
We're going to get a foul called again. It looks like it's going to be Eck again picking up his second foul. Third team foul against the Warriors. So Eck all of a sudden goes from 0 to 2 just like that. Unfortunately for Edmonds Woodway, or fortunately I should say, the quarter's almost over, but we'll see if Coach Brown wants to get him out of the game and try to stop him from getting that third.
Peterson off the court just resting, does not have any foul trouble. They'll dump it into the long corner. There's the quick wraparound. I think you might have number 3 on the Eck hold. And you can bet that will usher a substitute from the bench as Peterson is up and at the table.
That just wasn't a good foul there. I mean, Eck not even trying to disguise that one. He just flat out hooked him as he went baseline there. At that point, knowing you already have those 2 quick ones, I think you got to be a little bit wiser than that. And I think Coach Brown is talking to him about that right now.
There's an offensive rebound and put back by Kirk. Off of the Armstead miss. And it's a 4-point Hawks lead. The shot clock and game clock darn even right now. About a second differential as they dump down to Sear, and that will be a foul. Believe that will go against Grayson, Keegan Grayson. On the penetration dribble drive by Keaton McKay. And the senior will go to the free throw line.
And, I think they're actually going to get Armstead for that. It's
a
second, yeah.
Armstead was on the low block. I didn't thought he was out of the play. But I'm not out there.
Exactly. Well, I'll tell you what, if you're the Hawks, I think you would have rather Grayson had it. And because you don't have a lot of faith in Grayson to stay in that game, but it would have been his first. And again, Armstead, he plays a lot of pressure defense. He's going to get very physical, and consequently he's going to pick up some fouls along the way, and that's a player they need out here tonight if they're going to win this game.
McKay hits for 2 free throws and is carrying the load at 10 points for the Warriors. He'll take a seat as Becker comes back into the game. Noah Becker, the junior. The fall off in points, 11 per game between the two. There's the long three, no good. Grayson with the rebound. He'll pop it back out and look for a Davis last shot. Now Grayson's setting the play up. He's got 13 on the game clock. Into the corner to Kirk. He'll take a left-hand dribble drive. Now the long kick. Peterson, and they'll get it all the way back to Kirk, where Kirk has it stripped away. 1.3 seconds. Can they get rid of it? The shot is off and off the backboard, and it will count as a shot, but it will not go in. And after a flurry of activity, 12-10 at the first quarter break here on the Sound Live Sports Network. We'll take a break here and be back in a moment. Welcome back on the Sound Live Sports Network. We begin the second 8 up on the clock, and for the call, here's Steve.
All right, thank you, Keith Neely. It is 12-10, Mountlake Terrace with the lead here after one quarter. A little bit of a surprise. I thought this would be a higher scoring game tonight. Certainly a game that Mountlake Terrace, I think, favors more than Edmonds Woodway. We saw these two teams last year a couple times. One of the games that we broadcasted right here on SLSN was a 74-72 game. Mountlake Terrace always comfortable playing at defensive battles. Edmonds Woodway, they like to put up a lot of points. Well, let's see what the second quarter of action looks like here. Mountlake Terrace wearing the dark uniforms. They have the ball to start the quarter. Armstead's going to stay on the bench with those 2 fouls. Joey Gardner in for the first time today, the senior. Sean Kirk looking for something along the baseline. Tries to throw up a pass. The freshman Madoon Bull takes it away. Now Edmonds Woodway pushes it up. You've got Achulanu, Bull, Sear, Becker, and Peterson in the game for the Warriors right now. Trailing by 2, looking for the lead with the Sear 3 off the front iron. Everybody fighting for it. They're going to say it was last touched by Becker. Terrace basketball.
You're right. They like to throw it up. Edmonds Woodway averaging 71 points a contest throughout the first couple of games here. 13, 15 games into the season. That's a lot.
Well, they not only like to throw it up, they like to, when we've talked about their transition game a couple times already, we're going to get a foul called here apparently. I think this is on Sear. But this is a team that likes to get going up and down the court fast. They like to create off of steals. They don't like to play a lot of half court if they don't need to. And Mountlake Terrace is going to force them to use up shot clock. They're going to not give them the easy open looks that maybe they're accustomed to. Joey Gardner going through the lane, laying it up and in. His first bucket of the night. And that makes it a 14-10 game. Mountlake Terrace up on top with 7:12 to go here in the second quarter. Sear thought about taking another 3. Kicks it over to Bull instead, being guarded by Grayson. Almost a double dribble. Bull puts up a shot, hits the basket, and draws the foul. The freshman showing what he's capable of. Great move there. Got Grayson off balance, drew the contact, and got the basket.
Hey, he lost the ball initially, and I thought exactly the same thing you saw. It looked like a double dribble. And sometimes that little mistimed dribble, if you will get a defender on its heels, and Bull able to take advantage.
And he did a nice job there, too, of starting to drive the lane, pulled up really quickly, and initiated the contact by doing so. And that ball almost goes out of bounds and does. Kirk on the inbound pass. Grayson was being pressured. Threw the ball near the out-of-bounds line. Grayson just trying to save it, threw it back towards the baseline, and nobody was there waiting for it. Now Edmonds Woodway down by only 1. They've got a chance to take the lead.
Coach Sudup, I think he saw some miscommunication on the setup of the play, on the press break. Somebody wasn't in the right spot.
No, he did not look happy at all, to say the least, and now we'll see if Edmonds Woodway can capitalize. Bull and Grayson once again Sear over to Becker. Becker is going to maybe pull up. No, he's going to finally pull up from 12 feet out. Hits it. Noah Becker giving the Warriors a 15-14 lead with 6:38 to go in the second quarter. Mountlake Terrace wasting very little time. Here comes Sean Kirk. Kicks it out to Davis in the corner for three. Off the back iron. Rebound by the Hawks. That was number 31, Mason Peterson, the sophomore. Mountlake Terrace now very wisely trying to set it back up. Bull just picks Grayson's pocket. And we're going to get that double dribble call, Keith. You noticed it earlier, and this time Bull not getting away with it. Mountlake Terrace basketball.
Yeah, Edmonds Woodway, a 5-2 run to start the quarter, and that's without Keaton McKay, their leading scorer on the floor. So perhaps trying to get some more involvement is Coach Brown. Yeah,
and Jalen Nash just checks into the game. You're right, without McKay, you're getting that run. And Bull, I mean, other than that mistake right there, which, by the way, that's a pretty bad one when you have nobody in front of you but the basket. You need to go ahead and convert that and make that instead of double dribbling. But really, Bull, who's going to take a seat on the bench, very instrumental in making that 5-2 run there. And now we've got Mr. McKay back in, so we'll see what he can do. Peterson getting double-teamed in the corner as that ball got loose. Kirk out to Gardner. Edmonds Woodway putting a lot of pressure on this Mountlake Terrace team right now. Gardner throws it into the corner. Grayson has to save it. Down to 17 on the shot clock. Mountlake Terrace looking a little flustered and getting swatted as Ryan Peterson's arms get up there, knocking the ball away from Sean Kirk. We're down to 8 on the shot clock. Kirk looking to go one-on-one with Peterson, drives the lane, floats one up. Give Ryan Peterson can't give him a block there, but he certainly forced a bad shot, and now Edmonds Woodway back on the other end trying to expand upon this 1-point lead that they have.
Boy, just a lot of quick moves. They expand the court on defense and make Edmonds Woodway, or make Mountlake Terrace use every inch of the floor on offense.
Yeah, they do not look comfortable in that half-court game right now with Edmonds Woodway applying that pressure. Knowles gets into the lane, and he connects. Knowles had a 22-point game last week. We know he's capable of scoring. That's his first bucket of the night. 17-14, and Edmonds Woodway now putting the pressure on. Mountlake Terrace was about 2 seconds away from getting the 10-second violation. Kirk gets into the lane, and he gets one to fall.
And that's not an easy bucket. A leaner against the big man who's got a hop up in front of you. Had to lean, go offhand for just a second, but was able to get it to fall.
Yeah, he did indeed. So it's 17-16. It's a 30-second timeout, so we'll keep it here. And, Keith, we were talking about it a minute ago, just looking at the standings a little bit and kind of explain what this means. Looking at it right now, Stanwood is undefeated. They're 7-0 in conference play. Mountlake Terrace, Shorecrest, and Arlington in a three-way tie for second. Edmonds Woodway is in fifth. They're really in fourth. They're 6-2, right, and we'll explain that in just a second here. Then you've got Meadowdale next at 4-3. Mountlake Terrace gets pulled out of the equation. They're a 2A school playing in the 3A conference. The rest of these teams are fighting for district playoff spots. Top 9 teams make it to the tournament. If you are 6th, 7th, 8th, or 9th seed, you have to play a loser-out game. If you're the 5th seed, and I won't try to confuse you too much, you may or may not be in that equation also for a loser-out game. Top 4 definitely have buys through the first round and
that's the
automatically
key,
get into the double elimination. So you want to be 1 through 4, more than likely 1 through 5 the way things are looking. But Edmonds Woodway needing to kind of keep up with the rest of those teams up above them. It's vital that they get this win tonight. And I'll talk a little bit later about Mountlake Terrace. This means for Mountlake Terrace right now as Becker gets that basket to go. He now has 4 points on the game, making it a 19-16 game. Mountlake Terrace certainly trying to battle for a spot in their own district tournament, or a bye rather, and I'll talk about that later on. But this game means a lot to both of these teams tonight, not only for standings really, but because it is such a rivalry game, and these two teams always having epic battles against one another, so it seems. And now we're going to get a foul called against Edmonds Woodway as it looked as though Knowles might have reached in on Armstead, and he's going to pick up the foul.
This is really the last real test. Let's put it a different way. It's the last team that above 500 average that Edmonds Woodway has on the schedule. So you're going to end up going, Meadowdale, Everett, and Marysville Getchell the remainder of the way. So you've got some chance to gain some ground here.
You definitely do, as that shot is missed. That was Brendan Hayes missing the shot. Here comes Edmonds Woodway. Knowles, underhanded layup, gets it to fall as he rolls into the lane. Wasn't going to stop until he got to that basket. Edmonds Woodway with their largest lead of the night, 21-16. Gardner coming down on the other end, pulls up from 13 feet out, banks it off the backboard. Ryan Peterson with the nice defense, but every once in a while, you just got to tip your cap to the guy that shot the ball. Grayson picking the pocket of McKay, looking to go coast to coast. McKay on the other end, up and in, had to go underneath to make it. Didn't think that was a wise shot at first, but Keegan Grayson knows his own game better than we do. Mountlake Terrace on a 4-0 run, and all of a sudden we've got a 21-20 ball game. McKay trying to get that three ball, bounced off the rim a couple times. Terrace looking for the lead again now. Nash trying to reach in behind Armstead. Pass is going to go off of the Warriors. And we're going to get a couple substitutions as Sean Kirk and Madoon Bull also checking back into the game, as well as number 0, Ushino Ashulanu. And Keith, I wanted to talk a little bit about those 4 games you just mentioned, or I guess 3 games after tonight. It's a Meadowdale team that they're 5-10 overall, but they're 4-3 in league play, playing much better. Armstead underneath had the look he wanted, missed the shot, goes off Peterson, so the Hawks will keep the ball. And then you've got an Everett team that is 8-8 overall, 3-5 in conference. I had a chance to watch them last week. They defeated Marysville Pilchuck, a team that's pretty solid. They defeated them by 41 the other night. And sometimes, as the story goes with high school basketball teams, some teams get better as the season goes along.
Without question.
That's an Everett team that's playing pretty good ball right now, even though Mountlake Terrace got them by 12 the other night. That's not going to be a gimme by any means. So it's a fun Wesco league right now. There's going to be some exciting games coming up for both of these two teams.
Well, both these teams playing mighty fine active defense, and there's a foul call against Nash.
Nash is going to pick up his first foul.
And that'll be in the bonus.
Mountlake Terrace heading to the line, shooting 1-1, and it looks as though it's going to be Sean Kirk through 7 games this year. Kirk is 41 of 51 at the free throw line, which is 80%.
Give Bull credit for the foul, not Nash.
And he misses the shot. And Joey Gardner, one of the shorter players out on the floor, going up and coming down with the ball. And now he's going to get fouled and go to the line for 1-1. Certainly not a situation you want if you're Edmonds Woodway, knowing that you have some of those big bodies down low there, figuring that one of them should have come away with a rebound. And this time Noah Becker is going to pick up his first.
Even on the rebound before the fouls occurred, both these 2 fouls, Edmonds Woodway had a tip away and everybody left out in the break. Nobody went and got the basketball.
Let's see what happens here. Mountlake Terrace able to convert the front end of this 1-1 as Gardner connects. He now has 5 points on the night. Joey Gardner from the free throw line this year, 22 of 31. It's a 71% average, and this one could give Mountlake Terrace the lead, and does. 22-21 is our score. 3:18 to go here in the first half.
You notice both teams substituting frequently, but when you play that kind of defense and you expect that kind of workload, you're going to have to come out and take a breath once in a while.
Absolutely. Keaton McKay hits the 3, and then we get a foul away from the shot. Let's see what the call is here. And you're absolutely right, Keith. And not only that, but you still have a third and fourth quarter to go. You got to save a little bit, right?
To go. So that's a costly foul on Thomas.
Yeah, the basket
on Gardner.
The basket does count. So McKay now has 13 points on the night. Gardner picking up a foul away from the ball. It was the 7th team foul against the Hawks. So Ashalanu heading to the line, shooting 1-1.
Chance at a 5-point play.
Nothing but the bottom of the net on that first one. And all of a sudden, Edmonds Woodway, who was down by 1 coming into this possession, now up by 3 and could be 4 here if he hits this free throw.
A lot of talking going on at the top of the key, and I don't know what that's about.
A little bit of a posturing for position there, and that one's going to be missed. Grayson very wisely jumps in front of that basketball to stop Ashalanu from coming away with it.
Boy, how many rebounds does Grayson have tonight?
Shot up in the corner, missed between Grayson and Gardner. Both are about 5'9".
Yeah.
It's the little guys going up there. I always like to see that as one myself. See what happens here is Bull for 3. Had a chance to give Edmonds Woodway a 6-point lead and does not. Ashalanu trying to come up from behind Armstead. He knows better. He finally pulls it up at the free throw line. Grayson for 3. This is for the tie. Hits it. Keegan Grayson with the bucket. He now has 5 points here.
7
all in the quarter. McKay wasting little time on the other end. NBA range 3. Misses the shot. Ryan Peterson there to clean it up. He's on the scores board for the night, for the first time tonight, I should say.
Peterson usually a lot more involved. Has been very quiet underneath.
Shot from Kirk in the corner. This is for the lead, and he gives the Hawks the 28-27 advantage.
Now this is kind of the ball game we were expecting when we walked into the gym.
It's starting to pick up a little bit here. 28-27 is our score. You're right. Edmonds Woodway with a 15-14 advantage here in the quarter. Actually, 17-14 advantage. Nice shot by McKay. Actually, not so nice. He misses it, but then again, maybe we can even work in an assist there if we really want to be generous, as Peterson grabs that ball out of midair and lays it up. Makes it a 29-28 lead for the Warriors here with 1:30 to go in the first half. And Joey Gardner loses that ball. That almost hit
Went off the
Pietro Perilla as Perilla was trying to check in at the scores table, but that is in fact out of bounds. So with 1:26 to go, Perella will check in as well as Sear. (29-28) is our score. And Keith Neely, whether they're playing a lot of defense and not scoring a lot like the first quarter or just putting up massive amount of points like we've seen in the second quarter, the one thing is for certain, these two teams fairly evenly matched. Neither one of them able to get away from the other in terms of on the scoreboard. Now we're going to get a one-on-one situation for the Warriors.
That foul will go against Grayson, I believe.
It is indeed Grayson's foul.
Number 2. And back to the bonus.
Bull at the line. That's the 8th team foul against the Hawks here in the half. It's the first shot. 30-28. Edmonds Woodway in the lead. 1:14 to go. Freshman very calmly stepping up to the line.
Been there a few times.
He's done all right there so far tonight. He now has 5 points on the evening. 31-28 is the score with 1:08 to go here in the half.
3 for 3 from the line.
And Nayland Sood wants a quick timeout. That ball was batted away. Grayson was able to pick it up, and a 30-second timeout is going to be called. And
what a great timeout. I mean, you've got a team that suddenly you can't get the ball up the court. You're able to get the scrum and get it back. Just settle everybody down. You got plenty of time. You got a minute left. Let's go get a quality possession on the other end. Settle the nerves just a bit and go back out and play what we know we can play.
And like you mentioned, I mean, you're doing it at a prime spot there too. You've already got Grayson kind of pinned in the backcourt. Reset everything. Take the ball from out of bounds. Maybe you look and get somebody that's flying down the floor or just spreading the defense out a little bit again. And you're right. If Mountlake Terrace looks a little flustered and discombobulated, why not just take that time out, talk to your team, go, we practice this all the time. Here's what we need to do. Now let's go have a quality possession here, and we'll see if it pays off, right? That's the bottom line here.
Yeah, the time to make that timeout is snap decision, and Sue just knew it right then. That's a veteran coach.
Absolutely. He's been at this for a while. Gardner into the lane, kicks it out. Davis to Grayson. Grayson going to swing it out to Kirk. Goes behind the back, into the lane, floats one up from 8 feet out, gets it to roll around the rim, and drops into the hoop for the bucket. Sean Kirk now with 9 points on the evening. 31-30 is our score with 41 seconds to go in the half. 14-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. Ideally, each team looking to have one more possession. Perella for 3. He hits it. His first bucket of the night. 34-30 is our score. Mountlake Terrace trying to perhaps cut this deficit in half or more before the end of the half. Kirk into the lane, loses it momentarily, kicks it over to Peterson. Down to 9 seconds to go here in the half. Kirk into the lane, double teamed. They're going to say he traveled with the basketball, so Edmonds Woodway will take the possession with 7.4 seconds left.
Boy, that's tough. And Edmonds Woodway going into a zone, but at times you don't recognize it because they play so top-heavy with the guards, almost in a man-to-man situation. And I don't know that Kirk recognized it because he drew a triple team.
McKay, off-balance floater, misses it, and we've come to the end of the first half. A quarter which saw Edmonds Woodway score 24 points. Mountlake Terrace had 18, and our score at the half is the Warriors 34, the Hawks 30. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get you caught up on some of the stats of the night. Also might have a special guest here. We're trying to get one anyway, so stay tuned for that. We're going to take a break. You're watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Clogged drain, plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Unclogging most internal drains for just $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
And welcome back to the Sound Live Sports Network. Our score at halftime, the Edmonds Woodway Warriors leading the Mountlake Terrace Hawks 34-30. Spotted one of the Westco coaches in the crowd a few minutes ago and decided to try to get him on the air here, and he was generous enough to give us some time. Zach Ward, the head basketball coach for Stanwood, I should say the head basketball coach for the 7-0 top of the standings, Stanwood Spartans. Zach, how are you?
I'm good. An off night for us. We play tomorrow night in Snohomish, so Terrace upcoming on the schedule, so I want to get out and make sure I get another chance to watch them live.
Sure, and I was giving you a hard time a few minutes ago here because the last time your team was in this gym, you were not. You were a little under the weather when Edmonds Woodway played Stanwood a few weeks ago.
I think I woke up from some sleeps there, maybe second and fourth quarter for some text message updates from a couple parents. But yeah, I was in shambles that week coming back. I missed both this game and Oak Harbor with the flu. I know we were joking. I would have rather have been here for our game, but I was happy to take one for the team, so to speak, and I told my coaches, I'm going down to Edmonds tonight. I got it. You guys stay home, because a couple weeks ago I was home and you guys were down there.
Sure.
So it's all good.
Well, and now tell us about your season a little bit. You're 14-1 overall, a team that certainly got a lot of experience last year. You bring back quite a few varsity players, and a team that seems to have a lot of depth. I mean, we noticed your leading scorer, Chase Strebe, out for a while with an injury. And first of all, how's Chase doing, and then how is the team doing in general?
He's doing great. Yeah, unfortunate injury. He sprained his ankle 3 minutes into our first game down at San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously missed that game, missed the final 3 games, and then it's just been back about a week now. We brought him back for a couple minutes against Linwood, and then slowly just working him back in the mix. And I think he's about as close to 100% as he'll get. So he's going to start tomorrow night, and it should be full speed. But you're right. I mean, we have a lot of depth. We have a lot of kids that have played a lot of basketball. 8 seniors, but also some juniors, 4 juniors that have a lot of experience too. So Chase is our leading scorer by points, but I think you've seen, if you look at box scores, he's been out for, I think he missed 6 or 7 games, and we've had a couple different guys step up. AJ's really stepped up. We've had Quentin step up a couple nights. A couple guys like Nate Coomer coming off the bench stepping up. So different guys, different nights, and it's great. That's a great problem to have.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, we've got the standings up on the screen right now. Just taking a look at things, I mean, maybe a few surprises in there perhaps. Going into the season, we really didn't know what to expect, and I think it just shows the parity of this league, and you really never know who on any given night is going to be able to beat the other teams, right?
Yeah, I think you're right. You might have, before the season, written down some numbers like where you think teams are going to finish, and you look and maybe they don't have as many wins, or maybe they have more losses or whatever, but then you look, well, who'd they lose to or who'd they beat, and oh yeah, well, I could see that happening. And so a lot of it does actually make sense when you get teams that are in a cluster like that. You have 4 and 3s and the 3 and 2s and 3 and 4s. They're going back and forth. You look, and I bet you take a sample of those, and maybe the team at the top beat the team that's in third, and the second place team lost the team in third, and they beat the third and first. So I don't know. I think you're still going to see that play out, hopefully not for the Spartans, but for the rest of the regular season over the next 2.5 weeks.
Sure, and I know coaches don't like to do this. You're looking one game at a time. You're focused on Snohomish tomorrow, but
you bet.
When we kind of look at your schedule ahead, you've got the big game against Mountlake Terrace coming up a week from tonight.
Yeah.
That game's at home, and then the following Monday, you've got a home game against that other team that's 14-1 up on the board there, the Shorecrest Scots. I mean, never a dull moment in this league.
We're hitting a stretch here, and we talked about this as a group today where, we got 2 games the nenext 3 days, and one of them's a big rivalry for us with Arlington at home on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big game up there, and they're going to be fired up, and look at them. Oh, they're 6-1 in second place, right? So that's a big one, even without the records. You figure in the records, and then it ups it a little more, and you're right. Terrace comes to our place. That's going to be no easy shot. We go to Meadowdale that Friday night in an environment I think that can be a challenge to play in some nights, and then you're right, and then Shorecrest comes back the next Monday.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a race here.
So you're out here scouting the game tonight. What have you seen so far? Any surprises to you? Is it kind of going the way you thought it might? What are you seeing right now?
I think you see a tale of 2 different styles going against each other. I think that Edmonds definitely wants to play fast and get up and down as much as they can, and I think you saw that at times there, and when they were able to stretch the lead out, and then Nayland dials in the defense, and they get in that tough half-court man-to-man defense, which they're known for. And I think that it's going to be who plays their style.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in the half-court, Terrace is very good, and both offensively and defense. They run great stuff on offense, and then they're so good on defense that it can be an issue for a team that likes to spread you out and beat you off the dribble drive. Terrace does a good job of moving their feet and getting in front. I think that could be a struggle for Edmonds. But if Edmonds is able to score and then set up their press, I think that's more the style they want to play. So we saw a sample of it that first quarter. I think it was 12-10.
Yeah.
And it's 34-30 now. So
Keith and I mentioned the same thing.
Two different quarters there. The third quarter is going to be big. I think the start of the third quarter, maybe the first 6 minutes, is really going to dictate this game. If Terrace can make up this 5-point spread, 4-point spread, and keep it close, I think I'd probably put them in this favorite going into the fourth quarter. But if Edmonds comes out and stretches this out to 10, then it's more the style they want to play, and Terrace is going to have to come from behind.
Well, that's the fun part about having a contrast in styles with two evenly matched teams. You just really don't know until they get out there.
It's the fun part about sitting at the top of the bleachers, and I have nothing to do. I don't have to think about it. I can just watch.
Sure.
And that's great. That's kind of nice.
Hey, before I let you go, too, RPI rankings. Is it something you're looking at on a daily basis? Do you check? I know you guys have been kind of the recipient of maybe, I don't know if you want to call it unfair rankings, but I've noticed a couple times you guys have even dropped 1 or 2 spots without even playing a game. Certainly, I think we're getting closer to a better system, and I've got to think that some of the teams, at least in our neck of the woods, are a little bit happier about things. But is it something you pay attention to much? Or
hey, look, I mean, I'd be lying if I say I don't look. Every day, maybe not every day.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, maybe they are working towards something better. The frustrating part, I think, is that when they finally came out with this system, your schedules were made.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're going to San Diego for 4 games, you can't really get out of that. Like, we're going to drop that trip. We've already got airfare and we've got hotels and all that. And we're going to count those as 500 teams.
Regardless of whether they're 14-0 or 0-14, right?
Exactly. So I think that's something that I wouldn't be surprised if we see change, one piece of it. The other part that's kind of tough is that 75% of your score you have no control over. It's your opponent's win percentage and your opponent's win percentage. So 75%, you have nothing to do. And when you have 13 league games, and I know there's leagues that have more league games, that presents a challenge because you really don't have control because you're playing those teams no matter what.
Right.
And we see that in our league. We're playing these guys no matter what. No matter what system they have, we can't drop a game or add a game that we're going to call a league game. So they'll work it out. You got to beat the teams anyway somewhere along the line, and we're just going to focus on what we got to do. And I think if you keep winning, somebody told me if you keep winning, you're going to keep playing.
Exactly. You get through districts.
It's not that easy, but yeah.
Well, I certainly hope they fix that whole out-of-state thing because I know for your team in particular, you guys went down to Torrey Pines this year, 4-day trip to San Diego.
Yeah.
You don't want to discourage teams from not taking those trips because they're great not only in the sense that you get to play quality opponents, but you also get to have life experiences that those kids and the coaches, for that matter, will never forget.
You're right. And you know what? In the big picture, that's more important.
Absolutely. Well, hey, Zach, thank you for coming over here.
Thanks for having me.
Best of luck to you guys, not only tomorrow against Snohomish, but all season, and looking forward to seeing what the Spartans can do.
All right, see ya.
Thank you. So, again, that's Zach Ward, the head basketball coach for Stanwood. We're going to take a quick break. We're about ready for second half action. You're watching SLSN.
Clogged drain or other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Unclogging most internal drains for just $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
Welcome back on the Sound Live Sports Network as we start the third quarter. The McKay shot long and out of bounds. It goes back to Edmonds Woodway. What a great interview. Zach Ward, always just a very pleasant guy to talk to over a course of 20 minutes if you got time. He's got a lot of good things to say. He's got a great ball team, too.
Absolutely. He's got a very good ball team, and he's the reason for that great ball team. They've got a super feeder program up north. Stanwood doing it the right way. Zach's just, like I said, a great individual, and it's fun to watch that team every year.
Peterson with a swat of the Hayes shot. And here comes Edmonds Woodway, and Nash to the rack will elevate, draws the Peterson foul, and will head to the line. That'll be 2 on Mason Peterson, the sophomore.
Interesting to hear what he was saying about the watching what's going to happen here in the third quarter and which contrast or which style we're going to see more of as both teams looking to play their game. And always kind of fun to get the coach's perspective, that's for sure.
It is, absolutely. As Nash goes to the free throw line, misses the first of 2. His first free throw attempts tonight. As Peterson will exit saddled with those 2 fouls. And Nash back to the free throw line will split the pair. He's got 1 tonight and extends the lead to 5 for Edmonds Woodway. And under full court pressure, here come the Hawks. Edmonds Woodway trying to extend it in this zone press. And now we'll retreat back to the full court or just the full zone Edmonds Woodway lost a man. Becker had to jump back and get Davis. And the Hawks see that early. It's an easy bucket underneath. There's the three. Count it! As Brendan Hayes comes right back after getting a shot swatted away with a triple and cuts the lead to 2.
Now, Hayes not afraid to shoot three-pointers. He's shot in 67 of them this year. Only 27%, but he got that one to go.
Little inside-out game. They'll give it to Peterson, and a beautiful spin move heading right to left. And he elevates for the deuce. Peterson now with 6 points. The long kick out. It's Davis. 3 again. No, this time not clear, and out it goes to Armstead. He'll take the left-hand dribble drive. No, back out top now to Gardner.
Great job by Gardner getting his hand on that ball, just batting it away, knowing he had no chance at a rebound. Wanted to give his teammate a chance, though.
Feeling the range after the last time. It'll be an Armstead offensive rebound. He can't get it to fall. Swatted away by Zier. A couple of blocks. Now they'll enter pass to Becker. That's stolen away. Gardner has a couple of picks out front to Armstead. Offhand with the left out to the right. And Armstead picks up the deuce. He's got 4.
Very, very Keaton McKay-like, wasting no time on the other end, about 3 seconds into the possession. Fires up a 3-ball, gets it to go.
A lot of coaches want that waited on, right? You know you're a transition team, but let's wait for some bodies, get some offensive rebounds if we can, but not McKay. He's got the green light.
And he has the green light, rightfully so. Great defense, by the way, on those 2 possessions back-to-back. Sear doing a nice job of standing his ground, forcing Armstead into a bad shot, and then Gardner picking it on the other end.
That one will rim clear as Becker can't get the right-hand crossover in traffic to fall. Armstead now will take control top of the key. Down it goes to Davis. He's under heavy pressure by Becker. Top it goes to Kirk. Down into the corner. It'll be the Armstead triple again. Count it. So 2 field goals, 3 field goals on the quarter for the Hawks. 2 of them go down as threes.
The Hawks getting this to within a 2-point game. Oh, here we go again. Oh, my goodness.
Holy smoke. Keaton McKay is 4th, 5th triple. Count them, 5.
Yeah. You almost need 2 hands for those.
And then Armstead unhappy with himself. Thought he got jammed going up with the left hand. And here's the Becker 3 on the way. Count that one! Noah Becker!
Think you're going to shut McKay down? You just go over to Becker and let him hit one. 3 balls are raining right now, and it's given the Warriors their largest lead of the night.
There's your bump. Armstead under heavy pressure, draws the double team before the kick out. Upset he didn't get the call a trip ago, and he got it that time. That would have brought a lot of fire and brimstone, I think, from the bench, and that would not have been called.
Yeah, I think the referees knew that, and they knew they had to make something, had to call something against the Warriors there. And a lot of Warriors checking into the game right now, as it looks like Ashulanu, Knowles, and Eck all checking in for the first time in the third quarter.
Mason Peterson in for the Hawks. And now asking for the reset of the shot clock. And now the ball will enter in, and Eck's going to have to be careful. He bodied up, face guarded Brendan Hayes. Almost got another, and that would have been his 4th.
Yeah, I like the no call. It was really unnecessary, but yeah, he almost got one there.
Armstead walks into a double team, didn't see the backside coming, almost a blind pick, and Ancelano will go the distance and make this a 10-point Edmonds Woodway lead. Now Armstead has to wrap it between the wickets again. Eck is right there trying to get the basketball corralled, and that'll go off his fingertips and out of bounds.
Yeah, I was
Coach
wondering.
Brown's still on his players to keep the tempo up.
Well, you've got 2 coaches that both can be. I love both of these guys to death. They're both very intense, though, when they're on that sideline. You see Brown and Sood both barking out quite a few directions, and obviously when a game like this where you know a lot's on the line, they're not going to stop coaching at any time.
Ooh. Down another one goes. Kaboom! Knowles for 3. And after the Gardner interception on the other end, no doubt a nail ensued. Timeout ensues.
Yeah, 51-38. That's the 4th 3 by Edmonds Woodway in the quarter. We're not even 4 minutes in yet, and consequently we go from a 4-point halftime game to a 13-point Warrior lead.
And that's where we'll take a timeout. A full one on the court. 51-38, Edmonds Woodway dominating the third quarter.
Clogged drain or other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Unclogging most internal drains for just $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
Welcome back on the Sound Live Sports Network. An outpouring of long balls from the Edmonds Woodway Warriors have them the 13-point lead, and can't be too unhappy with that outpouring is head coach Robert Brown. And they're starting it on the defensive end. Of course, that's how both of these teams work. They start on defense, and it just turns into good things on offense.
Well, it can be misleading sometimes. You talked about that 71 point per game average for Edmonds Woodway, but so much of that is created from their defense.
Armstead for three. He'll start to crawl back in. He's got 2 triples in the quarter.
Going to get him for a long two there. He was just a couple steps in the line there. But, yeah, nonetheless, they needed that basket right now.
Stop the bleeding a bit. And that means I got to bring out the eraser. We got an offensive foul. And I believe that will go against McKay for the shove-off on the arm.
Well, I'm not sure what Suit said at the break there, but it's
that's Knowles that got counted for the foul.
Working so far. They get the one bucket on the one end, and then on the other end they force an offensive foul. And if you're Mountlake Terrace, you need to do something quickly. Time isn't of the essence quite yet, but certainly it's an Edmonds Woodway team that if you give them too much room and you let them start to pull away, they can put you away pretty quickly. We've seen that before.
I get the sense that Nayland Suit's team does not play without urgency.
No,
I think
never.
The opening tip, it's urgent.
I think both of these teams are like that. That's what
right.
makes these two so much fun to watch from night to night. And Mountlake Terrace, we've seen them over the last couple of years wipe out 10-point plus deficits.
Gardner with the long kick out, and that will get to Knowles on the rebound. There's a poke. Going cross body is Sean Kirk. He'll get charged for the foul. His body's flying all over the hardwood now. That's how these teams play.
Yeah, one of those bodies is Joey Gardner. He's a little bit slow to get up. It looks like he's able to shake it off and stay in the game, but looked for a moment there as though he might be down and out for a little bit, but he's going to stay in the ball game right now.
Anchelanu, Knowles, Sear, Eck, and McKay in the ball game for the Warriors. And on the other side of the ball, after this dribble drive, there's McKay with an offhand runner into the left-hand side, untouched to the rim. Count it.
And that's what hitting all those three balls will do for you. Everybody now playing you to take that outside shot, and if you can drive inside, creating your own baskets at that point.
And Knowles not happy with that foul call, but he was riding Armstead like a pony all the way across half court, across the timeline.
Which you're allowed to do in polo. You can't do it in basketball,
no,
right?
not so much. Not so much. 53-40, your count. Still a 13-point EW lead with just under 3 minutes to play here in the third quarter. That one pushed too hard by Sean Kirk, but he was tagged and will head to the free throw line for a pair.
They're going to get McKay for that one. Only his first foul, so certainly no need to worry about Keaton getting in foul trouble at this point. It is the fourth foul against Edmonds Woodway, however, with 2:57 to go. And certainly if you're Mountlake Terrace and you're trying to erase a 13-point deficit, you want to start getting to the free throw line a little bit.
And you got to hit some free throws. The only real foul trouble, Caleb Knowles and Cameron Eck both with 3 apiece, both on the floor for the Warriors. They only 2 kind of scattered for the Hawks as Kirk hits the second free throw. He splits the pair. I've got him for 10 on the night.
And we mentioned he's averaging 17.7 per game. He's their leading scorer by average, so certainly a player that they need to have a big night tonight, and he's been able to do his part thus far.
Out front is Anchelanu now trying to crack this top side of the man-to-man defense. He asks for the screen, will get it from Knowles. Now a fadeaway. That one rattles and hums, and it'll be an Armstead. That'll clean the glass clear into the hands of Gardner. Back to Armstead, underneath to the big man, Kirk, with a reverse lay-in on the right-hand side.
Great play all around. McKay going for the steal, giving Mountlake Terrace numbers. Armstead recognized that, drove into the lane, knew somebody was going to be open, happened to be his guy down low, and Sean Kirk putting it in there for his 12th point of the game.
Eck sets a high screen now into the backpedaling Joey Gardner, and that one has to get called as Gardner was on his heels from about the three-point land after a quick crossover by Achelanu.
And I don't know if Joey thought Achelanu was going to be that quick. I think Achelanu, recognizing that Gardner was on his heels, went right at him, created contact, and consequently he's going to get 2 free shots.
Achelanu is 1 for 2 from the night from the stripe at the 2-minute mark here of the third quarter. Steps up for 2 more, lefts that one short. Checking back in for the Hawks is Peterson, the sophomore. And also Becker will come in for Edmonds Woodway. Solano addressing the socks, the footwear. Only has about 1.5 inches of the legs showing.
It's almost like he's wearing sweats out there, or
think
capri
so.
pants.
And that one in and out. It'll be Eck with the offensive rebound. He'll go right back up off the turnaround. That won't fall. Almost knocked out of bounds, but gathered in by Kirk. And now Hawks will have to chip away at this 10-point lead. They managed to get it from 13, the largest for the Warriors, down to 10 now at the 146 mark. Out top to Peterson. They dump it down into Armstead. Now all the way into the corner to the point man, Kirk, and that one thrown away into the weeds. It'll go all the way into the Edmonds Woodway Warrior bench. And that is a tough deal if you're the Hawks, because now you've given the ball about 60 feet of distance, not quite, 30. If you hustle after that, you have a chance at it.
Well, and
At worst, it's an over and back, and they bring it back to where the ball was last touched here on this side of the court, or at least the half-court mark. So,
although it is the Warriors, so they were probably going to get over in about 2.5 seconds
it
anyway.
might not have mattered. You're right. Becker now to Knowles. He'll stop, wrap it around. They'll bring it back out. Becker will set things up. Asking for help. It's Nash back in the ball game. Here's Knowles now left hand, spins into the left. Oh,
that's
a pretty one. That was a beautiful move. Started left, went right, and then reversed it all the way around on the turnaround. That's a tough play. Knowles with 9.
Ouch, we heard that one over here. As it looked as though Hayes was looking to find Davis cutting down towards the basket. Davis stuck his fingers out to grab it, and one of the Warriors players got his in there as well, and you could hear the fingers jam off of Davis's hand, and he's still kind of moving those fingers around trying to get them loose. But that's never a fun moment when you're a basketball player and you jam those fingers from a basketball.
And you know about that in the morning, too. I mean, those things will swell up. You're putting tape on them on the next game.
He's still grabbing a hold of that hand, so we'll see. It appears as though it's his non-shooting hand. So
Davis now, top of the key. It goes to Peterson. It'll rattle out now. Right there for the offensive rebound and put back is Armstead. That's a big man move right there from the forward.
Yeah, doing his best to keep his team in it. He has 9 points on the quarter, so it's not the greatest third period for Mountlake Terrace, but certainly Kyrie at least holding up his end of the bargain and trying to give his team a chance to win this game.
Nash asking for the screen. Now top to Knowles. Out it goes to Becker. Man-to-man and heavy man-to-man pressure. They'll give it to Eck. They've got 11 on the shot clock, and now a timeout, a 30. We'll keep it right here on the Sound Live Sports Network. 10-point Warrior lead with 10.8 showing on the game clock for the quarter. Here we are in the third.
Yeah, and again, it's a less than 1 second differential between the two, so I'll be curious to see if Edmonds Woodway wants to just try to set something up. Not at this point, you're not going to give Mountlake Terrace much of an option anyway, but certainly you don't want to do anything too foolish, throw it up too quickly and give them a chance. But if you're Edmonds Woodway, you've got to feel really good about the way this has played out. Again, you went into the half with a 4-point lead. You've been up by double digits most of this quarter. And again, Mountlake Terrace probably has another run or two in them. That's just kind of who they are. But much better to be up by 10 than trailing or down by 10, right?
Have to come up with a run of your own.
Absolutely.
That's right. And you probably may get that. You got a solo run in Keaton McKay, a guy capable of putting his own run together. But on the other side, you just watched Armstead go off for 9 here in the quarter, as you mentioned. So two players just by themselves can either keep a team in it or make it awful tough the other way. There's the backdoor pass. And Apsis skips to Becker on a very, very forgiving bounce.
No, I think that bounce actually went off the hand of Davis and right into Becker's lap for the bucket there. So an assist from the defensive player, perhaps?
Whatever it was, it means a 12-point Edmonds Woodway lead to end the quarter. And we'll come back on the Sound Live Sports Network and get the final stanza underway. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back on the Sound Live Sports Network. A 12-point Warrior lead as we enter the final 8 minutes. For the call, here is Steve Willits.
And we are back again, 7:58 showing on that fourth quarter clock. Mountlake Terrace needs to get something going very quickly if they're going to try to run their record up to 7-1 in league play. Edmonds Woodway right now with that 12-point lead. Also want to throw a quick shout out here. I just got a score on my phone. Jackson ahead of Glacier Peak after 3 quarters. Glacier Peak yet to lose a game in Wesco 4A this year, so we'll keep you posted on that one as Armstead drives into the lane and draws contact. He'll head to the line for 2 free throws.
Edmonds Woodway with a 23-point quarter, only eclipsed by the second quarter, which they scored 24. Definitely pouring in the offense.
Seems like a long time ago now when that first quarter took place, where it was 12-10 at the end of the break, as Armstead gets the first one to fall. He now has 10 points in the half, 12 for the game, right around his average right now, which is 12.8 on the season. Only a junior. Armstead gets that one to fall as well. First 2 free throws of the night for Armstead, and he's not a great free throw shooter, to say the least. He's shooting 43% on the year. It's the one thing that in his game that he might need to try to work on a little bit as he keeps moving forward here. Davis sneaking around the back, bats it away, but Nash is able to come up with the ball. Madoon Bowl kicks it over to Ryan Peterson. Nice job by the Warriors to regain their composure, set up their offense. No need to rush this at all. A nice pass over the top. Ryan Peterson lays it up and in, but that basket was created by Jalen Nash with the beautiful pass. That gives the Edmonds Woodway Warriors a 12-point lead.
Absolutely, and you got to realize that Nash is only 5'6", and he's looking uphill at most of these players. So just to see Peterson and what his footwork is doing and then where his body is and to find the angle over the top, that's tough from that spot.
Absolutely. No, that's you have to put that ball right on the mark, and that's exactly what he did and led to 2 points there. If you were even off by a half inch, that ball gets batted away, and it's going the other direction as Sean Kirk will head to the line for 2 after the Ryan Peterson foul. Kirk's first one up and in. He's now 2 for 4 on the night at the free throw line. One more shot coming here. That basket is good as well. 59-49 is our score, 7:06 to go.
A lot of time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, plenty of time, especially with the way the Hawks play defense.
Especially with the way both of these teams like to put up points. And especially on a play like that. Robert Brown is part of the team, but he is not a player, not able to throw that ball to him, and that's exactly what happens as Nash threw that pass. I think he thought Sear was going to pop out a little further than he did, and instead it hits the coach in the chest. Mountlake Terrace basketball. And one other thing I wanted to point out earlier, and we'll get to that in a second here, as Mountlake Terrace wasting no time as Noah Becker kicks that ball out of bounds. Touched on the 3A standings earlier. Didn't really talk much about the 2A yet. Mountlake Terrace trying to get into the top 12 of the District 1 for 2A schools. We're going to get a foul away from the shot, but it is going to put Mountlake Terrace on the line as they're now into the bonus as Foul is going to be called against.
I think that's against Sear. Yeah, and that's huge this early on. You got 7 minutes worth of game clock in which you can score points with the clock stopped.
Yeah.
And when you're down by 10, and the way you shoot threes to be able to put points up on the board, just as Sean Kirk has done here in the last 2 trips.
They're in the bonus the rest of the way. So Mountlake Terrace plays into an RPI system. It's not the one that the state uses. It's a lot of the same variables, but they have to play into an RPI system. Was looking through the state's RPI rankings the other day just to kind of get a little bit of a gauge as to where they might be. And right now, Mountlake Terrace is in the number 5 spot. 4 of the teams up in the Northwest Conference are ahead of them. Top 4 teams get a bye into the double elimination tournament. Teams 5 through 12 have to play each other in a loser-out game. So Mountlake Terrace, every game is going to matter for them, maybe even more so than some of the other teams in this conference right now, even if it doesn't matter in the standings. So this is a Hawks team that knows that they need to come back and try to win this game tonight, down by 8. Sear for 3, gets nothing but air. Nice job by Becker to try to bat it off of Armstead. Goes out of bounds, and the Hawks will get the possession. So really, again, it's so much fun to kind of follow this time of year. If it's Edmonds Woodway, you're looking in the standings, trying to figure out where you're seated. If it's Mountlake Terrace, you're looking at RPI rankings for the 2A. Never a dull moment when you get down to those last 2 or 3 weeks, trying to kind of gauge and project where everybody is.
Well, the Hawks at number 22 in that RPI for the 2A, sitting right now.
And that's for the state,
for the state,
for
the entire state.
I think the team, I want to say it might be Seaholm, is just a couple spots ahead of them, and they would be the 4 seed right now. So we'll keep an eye on those guys too. 6:05 to go here in the quarter. 59-51. Mountlake Terrace, once trailing by 13 points, now has this down to an 8-point game and the basketball. So all of a sudden, you get a basket here, things get really interesting.
Edmonds Woodway's got a kind of an interesting lineup on the floor. I think it's a defensive lineup.
Nice job by Joey. And then finally getting the ball is Kirk. He lays it up and in. The Hawks now with a 6-point deficit. And look out for them. They are coming back right now. Edmonds Woodway, as you just mentioned, a little bit of a different lineup. I think we're going to see a few substitutions here coming up shortly. But Nash into the lane. Underhand layup. Gardner able to block it. He's going to try to push with numbers. Nash comes up from behind him. Armstead for the long 3, in and out.
There's a lot of smacking. You can hear it from here. A lot of active hands, but a lot of times that does not go well.
Yeah, these teams recognizing right now that they've got to do something and do it quickly. There's not much time left, and you can't take any of this energy with you tonight. You might as well leave it all out on the court, and we're going to have a full timeout. 5:29 to go. It's a 6-point game. Don't go anywhere. You're watching SLSN.
Clogged drain or other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Unclogging most internal drains for just $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
And welcome back to Edmonds Woodway High School. The Warriors and the Hawks in a battle right now. And if you're just tuning in, you picked a good time to do so. This was an Edmonds Woodway team that had a 51-38 lead late in the third quarter. And since then, Mountlake Terrace on a 15-8 run to get within 6. And we've got ourselves a ball game here right now. And we've got we're looking on your phone right now. We've got people watching us all over the place.
Kelly McNeese, Cameron Eck's mother, is saying it's his birthday today, and she's watching from Texas.
Cameron Eck.
Yeah, so
should we tell the referees that so they maybe lay off one of these fouls and make sure that he's able to stick around this game?
Yeah, right. Little happy birthday. Well, he's definitely played some great defense.
Absolutely. He's having himself a nice night when he's on the floor. And happy birthday, Cameron, if you're watching this game after the fact. See if he and his teammates can celebrate with a victory after the end of the game here, as we're down to 5:18 to go, and they are currently up by 6. Mountlake Terrace trying to cut into that Warrior lead. We're down to 5:10 showing on the clock. Davis looking for Armstead. Down to 13 on the shot clock. Armstead from 12 feet out misses it off the back iron. Ryan Peterson able to come up with the basketball, and here come the Warriors.
Great
by Davis. He's trying to argue that referees don't see it. They back to the Warriors, who will have 23 seconds left on the shot clock. Other 2 referees tonight that we didn't mention, Sean Madsen and Andy Ricewig. All 3 doing a nice job so far. In an up-tempo game, you have to be ready to go. And certainly they're earning their money tonight and getting a workout in the process as McKay goes right baseline. Going to say he was hand-checked before he got to the basket. Foul will be called against the Hawks. Only the third foul in the half against Mountlake Terrace. This one's going to go against Armstead, who picks up his third.
Third foul with 4:36 to go. That's just good defense. That's really where you want to be if you're a defending type player, or any player for that matter. If you're not have a couple of fouls, you're not working hard enough.
Yeah, Armstead knows that he gets 5, and he's always going to try to use them as well as he can, and picks up his third there. And Edmonds Woodway scramble on the floor, and the Warriors, so they will keep the ball here with 4:17 left in the fourth quarter.
Peterson snapping his hands together. He knew he had a point-blank look at an easy right-hand lay-in, but it had, 2 big steps to cover. That's a lot of distance for the big man. Just left it short.
Just a bit there. Unfortunately for him, he did get it back, and now we get a little contact
lot of
there.
pushing and shoving going on.
Kind of see if things get restored here. These two teams know each other fairly well. All of these players, for the most part, growing up in the area, they play against each other and in some cases with each other on club teams. So you've seen a few times tonight where they've given each other high fives after plays. Block shot by Armstead as McKay went up. Mountlake Terrace able to get it back. Now down by 6. 4:05 to go here in the fourth quarter. Hawks looking to cut into this deficit even more. So Armstead's going to set it back out on top. Over to Davis. Davis for the long three. Hits it! Brock Davis. First bucket since the first quarter. His third three-pointer of the game. And Keith, we've got a one-possession game right now.
Yeah, that came from way downtown. That was a tough look. That was a guy in his face.
That was Keaton McKay territory there.
Sure was. And that, I think we'll get a push foul out of bounds. These teams are really being active. Davis being one of the more active defenders is kind of getting under the skin, I think, of some of the Warriors, good or bad. That time picks up the foul. It's only his first.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, for as aggressive as Davis has been, only has the one foul, and that time definitely coming over the back of Becker. It does give them a new 35-second clock. 3:26 to go here in the quarter. Knowles, did it go off his foot or did somebody else touch it? We're going to get an over and back. Mountlake Terrace basketball. They've got a chance to potentially tie this game if they get a 3-ball.
This is one of those cases I think the Warriors have played not to lose, but they had such a big lead heading into that fourth quarter of play. All you got to do is keep the up-tempo going. Of course, it helps to hit a couple of buckets.
Yeah, that always plays into the equation as well. And Mountlake Terrace right now swinging the ball around. And we get another 3-ball and a foul. Does not go down, but Brock Davis will head to the line. Davis, who coming into the game was shooting 80% at the free throw line, has a chance to potentially tie this one up if he can get all 3 of these to go.
And I think that that Becker foul has a lot to do with the way those two have been wrestling up and down the court. This time it's Davis that was the benefactor. Last possession, he was the one that tagged tagged Becker. So those two back and forth, and they're in each other's head. They're between the ears right now.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to watch both of them, and it might have even factored into Davis missing that first free throw. As we've got ourselves a game here right now. He did hit the second one, so it's now 59-57. Ashelanu is going to check back into the game as Jalen Nash will take a breather. 3:11 showing on that clock. That's the 8th team foul against Edmonds Woodway, so they're in jeopardy of going into double bonus here shortly as 2 of the 3 free throws going in for Davis. Edmonds Woodway feeling that pressure, finally able to come across the line. 3:04 to go. Davis all over Ashelanu, drawing contact in the process, and then he bumps into him. Ashelanu not real happy with the situation. He wanted to go have a little conversation with Davis, and Keaton McKay very wisely pulls him away and tells him he needs to calm down a little bit.
Yeah, it's been building for a while, and I think that's exactly why he's going over to head coach, who said just knock it off. Just settle down a little bit. We don't need anything dumb. One thing good about that foul at the 3-minute mark, you only have one more foul to give, right? So you don't have to worry so much about fouling if you're down. If Edmonds Woodway should get a big bucket here, you can still work into the free throws.
Peterson with a nice follow-up, grabs the rebound, puts it in. McKay throwing up the off-balance shot, and it looked as though it was going to give Terrace an opportunity to come away with it, but Ryan Peterson very wisely grabbing it. McKay with the pickoff, kicks it back to Becker. Becker pulling back out on top with 2:37 to go. 3-point game right now. And Armstead, who was trying to cover up McKay on the pass, and unfortunately for him, he lost his balance and went right into Ashulanu. He's going to pick up the foul, and more importantly for Edmonds Woodway, that's the 7th foul against Mountlake Terrace in the half, and that's going to send Ashulanu to the line for 1-1. And that's also the 4th foul on Armstead.
Sure is, and it's a little bit tough because the refereeing has been allowed so much of that, so much of the slapping and the hand reaching and the being in each other's kitchen, that when you kind of get out front on top like that and don't get a call, or you wouldn't think you were going to get one, and to suddenly get one, it changes things a bit. So we'll see. We'll see what the thought process is coming down the back court now the other way.
And I don't think Armstead gave him much of a choice there, as there was a lot of contact as he just more or less stumbled into him as he was trying to guard McKay on the play. Ashulanu making the first free throw. It's now a 4-point game. Misses the second. Kirk goes up, gets it batted away momentarily, comes away with it. He starts to push up on the other end. Armstead just getting over the half-court line. Robert Brown thought he didn't get over in time. He's wanting it over and back. Not going to get it. Gardner now with the ball in the right corner. Kicks it over to Peterson. Peterson back out on top to Gardner. Down to 17 on the shot clock. 2:11 game clock. Davis goes up. Very late whistle on the play, and Davis is going to head to the line for 2.
That one again, Becker. He and Becker are just going right at it. Becker picks up his 4th.
Is that his 4th or his 5th? That's his 5th, yeah.
He is done.
Noah Becker with 9 points on the night will be heading to the bench. And as you've mentioned a couple times, Keith, Becker and Davis having a great battle out there tonight. Be curious to see what happens now as Becker's out of the game and now Bull comes back in. And I have to think that Bull is probably going to be the one checking Davis moving forward.
And the Hawks almost playing like they're down at the end of the ball game, like they only have 30 seconds left. We're a little bit rushed, I thought, in that possession, and it was lucky that Davis was able to get the foul call.
Yeah, almost a little bit of a bailout, and then Davis misses the first free throw, and certainly no need to rush. You've got
None
2
at all. None.
And then he misses the second one as well. He's missed 3 of his 5 free throw attempts here in the quarter. Again, that's an 80% foul shooter, not something we're used to seeing out of him, and that's the difference in this game right now. They're down by 4. McKay, underhand layup, misses it. Peterson right there, goes right back up. How many times have we seen that tonight? Ryan Peterson now with 12 points for the game. 6-point lead for Edmonds Woodway. Bodies everywhere. Ashulanu scoops it up right into the hands of Peterson. Out to Gardner.
Pinball machine.
Armstead back to Kirk. Thought about the 3. He's going to drive into the lane. Scooping shot, draws contact, and he'll head to the line for 2. 64-58 with 1:36 to go.
Double bonus the rest of the way for the Hawks. So we'll be shooting some free throws for the final 1:36.
Peterson picking up his second foul in the process. Kirk, who is 4 for 4 at the free throw line this quarter. Make it 5 for 5. He hits the first shot.
Yeah, the guy you want to be there. He's only missed 2 tonight.
And again on the season, came into the night with an 80%
6 for 8
free throw percentage rate, so we'll see what he can do here. Trying to make this a 4-point game, and does.
How important are the 2 Brock Davis free throws ahead of that right now?
And how important will they be down the stretch? We're about to find out. 1:29 left here in the fourth quarter. McKay not wasting a lot of time. Might have forced that shot a little too quickly. 4-point lead, and the Mountlake Terrace fans are going nuts. Referees are going to have a conference here real quick. I know Keaton McKay has a green light on a lot of things, but when you're up by 4,
no need. By 4 with a buck left, buck and a quarter.
Yeah, no need to put up a low percentage shot.
Well, especially early in the possession. You only had the ball went out of bounds with 24 seconds on the shot clock. So you had a 9-second possession from the opposite baseline, which means in front court he probably only had 3 seconds.
And the referees, after getting together, are going to say it's still Edmonds Woodway basketball. You and I are sitting cross court from where that took place, over in the corner, with a lot of bodies in between us. I didn't see a lot of it. I know the Mountlake Terrace faithful were just up in arms immediately. But
yeah, and it was fast, so that kind of told you what they saw. Hard to tell.
Yeah, with 24 seconds left on the shot clock as McKay didn't catch anything in terms of rim. Peterson down in there in the middle, gets the basketball, misses the shot, but he's going to the line for 2. And again, Ryan Peterson just using that height right now to his advantage. Mountlake Terrace, not really a lot of true post players, and Peterson's been able to use that height all night long, and now he's going to head to the line. He already has 12 points for the game, and now he's looking for 2 more.
23 points put up in that third quarter as he misses the free throw. Only 2 of them from Peterson. but he's responsible for all the field goals in the fourth for the Warriors, 6 points.
Yeah, and that's when it matters most, right? That's what we're told anyway. It's not a good sign, though, when you're the guy that has 3 field goals in the quarter has all of the field goals for your team.
Right.
And there's finally a free throw from him and makes it a 65-60 game.
The Warriors back to earth.
And we're going to get called for a 5-second violation on Mountlake Terrace. Edmonds Woodway, 1:23 left, 5-point lead, and the basketball.
Boy, it's still not even close to being done. What a great contest between two top-notch teams. Get the ball into McKay.
Yeah, not close to being done, but certainly if Edmonds Woodway can get a bucket right here, it's going to be awfully hard to overcome that. Let's see what they can do. McKay being guarded by Armstead. And McKay's going to get called for the 5-second violation. That's going to give the ball to the Hawks with 1:14 left. Armstead, it's not going to show up in the stat column, but certainly he was the one that more or less forced that. And doing so with his 4 fouls as well, we might add. So he's in jeopardy of getting knocked out of this game if he's not careful.
Hawks don't need a quick bucket. They can wait a possession, but they need a sure bucket.
Absolutely. 1:04 to go here in the game. They're down by 5. A little bit of a dangerous pass there. McKay almost getting in. Armstead pulls up from 14 feet out. Back iron. 2 of the Hawks going for it. A third one. Davis coming away with it. Off-balance shot. Not sure that's the look they wanted. Almost hit it, and that ball goes out of bounds, and with 51.5 seconds to go, Edmonds Woodway basketball.
Well, and that was off balance, and Davis hits the deck, but it was a lot of his own doing, and I think he threw a lot of cream on the end.
I think that's a player that's just getting a little nervous knowing that his team's down by 5 and he needs to do something quickly, and I think if he had that one to do over again, he might have waited another second or two and tried to get a better look. Oh, Bull down by the basket. Very smart move by the freshman. Recognizing he didn't have an open shot. Not only do you go to the free throw line with McKay now, you also foul Armstead out of the game. So great job by the freshman to make all of that happen with his heads-up move of not trying to force a shot and rather forcing Mountlake Terrace into sending someone to the free throw line. And that someone happens to be Keaton McKay, who's pretty darn good.
Armstead had to really. He was the only one within fouling distance, within about 10 feet of McKay out there, and with 38 seconds to go and down by 5, you need the ball.
Yeah, and it's really unfortunate for Mountlake Terrace because you have so many players out there who have 1 or 2 fouls only. So the fact that the guy with 4, the guy who is really your defensive presence out there, was the one that had to commit that foul. And McKay misses the free throw. However, we're going to get a whistle. I think the whistle's going to be against Edmonds Woodway on the rebound, and that's going to send Terrace to the line for 2.
Now you're shooting without the clock moving. That is the absolute worst thing you can do if you're the Warriors. And you put a pretty good free throw shooter in Sean Kirk up there, who is, 7 for 9 tonight?
And who's 80% on the season. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Keith. The clock is your friend right now. You do not want to give them freebies, and you want to make them at least have to travel down the floor to earn it, and you didn't even do that. Nothing went off the clock there. Kirk hits the first one, and if he gets the second one, you've got a one-possession game all of a sudden. So not only do you miss the free throw on your own end, giving them some free shots on the opposite side of the court, and boy, that changes the complexion of this game drastically all of a sudden.
100%. Now look for McKay, who they're going the long way with, and they're able to get him on Gardner now. It's Armstead is out of the ball game, and he'll go back to shooting free throws. Now Brock Davis is tagged with free throws, or with the foul.
Yeah, 34.1 seconds to go. There was a 2.8 second differential between shot clock and game clock. So at some point, if Terrace wasn't going to force a turnover, they were going to need to foul. I don't know that Davis was necessarily looking for it there. He looked at the referee, didn't think that he made enough contact, but that contact was going to happen at some point. May not be the worst thing in the world for Mountlake Terrace to do it early here. If you can get that ball back and get down and get another quick bucket, you can make this an interesting game as McKay hits the first free throw to make it a 4-point game.
Yeah, now both in the double bonus. He was bitten by the front end of a one-on-one at his last trip, but hits both of these.
5-point game, 34.1 to go here. Mountlake Terrace having a little trouble getting it in. Finally, Joey Gardner able to come up with it, being guarded by Ashelanu. 26 seconds, long 3. That ball's off the mark. It was Hayes with the attempt. And that might be the dagger right there.
Not a bad look. I mean, it really wasn't. Hayes has hit it. He's hit a 3. He came off the top of the arc and hit a nice one. And that one, I thought he got his feet under, and I thought he had a very good look, a legitimate look at a decent shot for him.
Yeah, you can't fault a guy for putting that shot up. Now, you do have other guys on your team that have higher three-point percentages, but really, like you said, if somebody's going to give you an open look at this stage in the game, you've got to take it, and that's what he did. Edmonds Woodway will be heading back to the free throw line as this time Mason Peterson picks up the foul, his third, with 19 seconds showing on the clock. Keaton McKay has a chance to make this a 7-point game potentially.
4 for 5 from the free throw line. I've got him for 23. Make that 24.
Hey, want to give a nice shout out here. We've got Bobby B, by the way, on camera here. Bobby is a JV basketball player for Edmonds Woodway, and he's helping us out tonight. So, Bobby, appreciate the help tonight. Nice job. I think he's enjoying the game right now, especially knowing that his team's up by 7 points after the McKay second free throw goes in. Hawks need something right now. 13 seconds left. Oh, it's Brian B. I'm sorry, I messed his name up. I asked Brian earlier, I'm like, what's your last name so I can read it on the air? And he gave it to me, and I thought, I don't know that we even want to try that one. So.
Edmonds Woodway heading back to the free throw line with 9.1 ticks on the game clock.
Let's see how I do here. Is it Brian? Is it Bunyatapano? Oh, did I get it right? Am I close? Okay. Bunyatipanon. So, Brian, we appreciate his help tonight, and maybe by the time he's a ninth grader, so by the time he's up here as a sophomore, junior, we'll really work on the pronunciation.
Yeah, we'll have to get that one down.
And I won't be calling him Bobby by then either. So, thanks, Brian. The first shot is missed with 9.1 seconds left as Ashalani was at the free throw line.
And he struggled tonight from the line, 2 for 7.
Glacier Peak Jackson just went into overtime, by the way. Glacier Peak undefeated in league play. Stay tuned for the update on that one. Great game going on.
Stevens gave him a scare through 3 quarters a couple of nights ago.
Cascade only lost by 5 to them not too long ago. So it's certainly another conference that's up for grabs right now, perhaps. Joey Gardner, 4 seconds to go. They're down by 8, so it's not going to matter. Grayson with the 3. Hits off back iron. Ball game is over, and the Edmonds Woodway Warriors, they win their 7th league game of the year, 7-2 on the season, with a 70-62 victory. Keith Neely, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we will get you our player of the game and have a little fun with the interview. You are watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Clogged drain or other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Unclogging most internal drains for just $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
All right, we got the honors here on the Sound Live Sports Network. The final 70-62. Edmonds Woodway with the big W and a crosstown rival. And sitting next to me is our player of the game. We're going to get one more picture. Our Adrenaline Sports Fundraising player of the game, Keaton McKay, who popped off for, I got you, 21, 22, 23, 25 points. Just a tad above the average. Yeah. Is that what you're looking for? What are you looking for in a game?
Every game I'm looking to score that much. But most importantly, just trying to come out and get the dub first.
Your team came off out of the halftime break and just went bonkers. What was said in the locker room that went from, a 10-point first quarter that go unraveled back-to-back 24-point second and a 23-point third?
Coach, when we were in the locker room, Coach Brown just said, you can't win a game by just winning the first half. You got to win both halves. So we came out with that kind of mentality. Knew we had to come out strong. And if we came out weak, then we knew that they were going to give us a run for our money. So
you drew a tough defensive draw with Armstead. You two obviously have played together and know each other pretty well. what were you thinking when you came down the court the first time you matched with Kyrie?
Well, I was just going to play my game, just do what I do, and if he stopped me, then shit, he did a hell of a job. So that's all.
You got a couple of different looks tonight. A couple of times the step back three was falling. I think you hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 triples on the night. So that was working for you. But by the end of the game, you were dropping back and then driving in. Do you have one part of the game that you prefer over the other, or is it just basketball at this point?
It's just basketball, but I really like the three. That's my favorite shot. So.
Well, and I heard a little story, and you're going to have to fill me in. At practice the other day, you put a timer on, and you were having to hit from spots. And what was it, 6 spots you had to hit from?
Yeah. We do this, me and Wayne, the freshman coach, we do this thing where you go around 6 spots on the three-point line. You got to make 3 in a row from each spot, and then 2 in a row going back, and then just 1 from each spot. And then we time, and I think it was like 2:48, 2 minutes,
So
48
how many
seconds.
shots did you shoot and make in 2:48? I mean, I can't even add that up, but it's got to be in the 30, right?
Yeah,
30 shots in a
around
row
that. Yeah.
in 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
Yeah.
So that's certainly sets up for why 5 in a ball game over the course of a game isn't necessarily difficult for you.
Yeah, no.
All right. Keaton McKay, our Adrenaline Sports fundraising player of the game. You got the T-shirt. Go join the boys. Congratulations on a great win.
Thank you.
All right. A 70-62 win. We'll take one final break, bring Steve Willits back in, and talk some standings, and that will wrap it up. But stay with us for one more moment, and we'll come back on the Sound Live Sports Network. Welcome back on the Sound Live Sports Network. We're just settling in the 70-62 8-point win for the Warriors of Edmonds Woodway. A great battle between two teams. You kind of felt this coming in tonight that it was going to come down. It could have just as easily been a 70-62 Hawks win.
And, we talked about it in the third quarter when it was a 13-point lead. We said, Mountlake Terrace has got another run or two left in them, and they did. They came right back, had a chance to take the lead even. A great game tonight. I mean, this is kind of what we were expecting, and much like what Zach Ward said earlier, two teams that play very different style of basketball, but two teams that are evenly matched, and anytime you get them out there, crosstown rivals, you're going to get a good game. And scoreboard makes it sound a little more lopsided than it truly was at sometimes in the fourth quarter, but a great game for both of them. And two teams that are both going to district play, albeit in two different brackets, but two teams that have a chance to maybe make a nice run this year, too. These are two quality ball clubs.
You better believe it. Edmonds Woodway up next. They play Meadowdale, so the rubber chicken matchup, if you will, on Friday. 6th place is Meadowdale, right kind of in the middle of the pack, 4-3, 5-10 overall. Meadowdale trying to make that push to get up to that upper echelon and get out of the bye. They can. Now, will they?
They could. I mean, again, it's looking as though, and I won't go into all the details, but long story short, if Squalicum and Ferndale, I guess it's Ferndale mainly, if they don't get their act together up in the north end and finish in the top 6 and have a 500 record, that means that the top 5 teams in Wesco will get that. We call it a bye, but it's really an extra advantage in not having to play a loser-out game and a direct path into the double elimination. And that's where you want to be. So Meadowdale's right in the thick of things for that number 5 spot, so a huge game for them. It's an Edmonds Woodway team that beat them pretty handedly back on December 30th. But, again, Meadowdale playing much better basketball right now. They had a lot of football players on that team that came into the season late because of their semifinal run into the state tournament. And I think they're going to get a different look team this time around. It's certainly a team that's playing a little more cohesively, and it's going to be a good ball game.
It will, and on the flip side, on Friday, Mountlake Terrace plays Linwood, same place. They lost to Meadowdale last week, so they flip-flopped, and Linwood falls into that 7th spot, 3-4 overall, 5-10 or 5-10 overall, 3-4 in league, but they're also a very capable team.
And Mountlake Terrace and Linwood actually played each other back on December 3rd. It was considered a non-conference game, being it was early in the season. It was a game that Linwood led going into the fourth quarter, and this is a Linwood team. Bobby Hinnenkamp has them playing extremely well right now. Comparatively speaking, from what we've seen from Linwood over the last few years, there was a time for a while there where Linwood was kind of an easy out, and when they were on your schedule, you felt like that was an automatic W.
Yep.
It's no longer that way. So, and especially when you get crosstown teams playing again, these guys don't want to lose to one another. It's going to be another fun game, and it's at Mountlake Terrace on Friday night. So certainly, folks need to get over there. A little disappointed with, to be honest, with both of the crowds tonight. A little smaller than I thought they were going to be for a game. I know it's Tuesday night, but two teams battling for the top of the standings. Hopefully, folks get out to both of these two teams' games on Friday. Both are at home. And support your squads. I mean, these are two.
Get a taste. You're going into districts in 2 weeks? It's there. We are coming right up on it. So you take a deep breath. Go watch some basketball.
Absolutely.
And come back after all the abacus work has been done. That's where we rely on you, Steve Willis, to tell us what that's going to be.
Well, it's nice that we're able to broadcast these games from time to time. But I always like seeing full gyms, and I like seeing the energy that it brings. And it would be nice to see that on Friday night, both at Edmonds Woodway and at Mountlake Terrace.
All right. Well, that'll do it for us here on the Sound Live Sports Network. 70-62, the final. Edmonds Woodway with the win.
Can we give a shout out to the guy behind the camera?
The guy behind the camera, Calvin Neely.
Hey, there we go. Neely, that name sounds familiar.
He does. Yeah, I recruited heavily today.
Get it all in the family, and he's killing us right now. He's getting ready to kill us. He wants to get off the air, so we'll sign off. Right?
All right. Thanks for being with us. More games and districts on the way on the Sound Live Sports Network. We hope you check the schedule and be back with us down the road.
Have a good night.